Carrying on from yesterday's video, go check it out if you haven't seen it already. Connecting up my Campervan Electrics. Now, all I'm doing is interlink wiring the components that can be wired to each other so that I can do it while the panel is off of where it's actually going to go, and then I can just put it all in place and connect everything up afterwards. Some of these connections are only temporary because I need to take them out and put ferrules on as well, because fine stranded cable, you should ferrule them up. I just don't have any at the minute, but I didn't want to leave the cables loose floating, so just connecting them up for now. Then at the links distributor, it's just a case of slide your heat shrink over the cable, put your crimp on, crimp it down, slide your heat shrink up, and put your heat gun over the heat shrink just to get a nice seal around the crimp. And do that for the rest of the connections. Follow the wiring diagrams that Vunct provide for you, and you should have no problem. Now, this may seem complicated to look at, but it's actually quite simple. Everything needs a positive and a negative. So from your battery, you've got a positive and a negative going into your links distributor. Then you've got a positive and a negative coming out to each of these components. If you're following a wiring diagram and an installation guide, then you just need to do one component at a time, and then you won't get too overwhelmed thinking, my God, there's so many wires here. There actually isn't if you just think each thing is done individually. Do that, finish it, on to the next one. You'll also see I've got some crimps and heat shrink on all of this. There's nothing worse than getting a crimp wrong, because then you lose the length of the crimp and you need to get another crimp, and the kit only supplies you with enough crimps that you need. So you want to try and get it right first time, or otherwise you'll have to buy more crimps. Last thing that I need to do is connect my battery on, but again, I can't do that until this board is fully fixed in. I've wired everything that I can to a point until I need this board in and I need to connect other bits to it. Let me talk you through what I've done so far. Now, we've got our solar isolator, and the load side of our solar isolator is going to comes out and goes into your solar charger, and then your plus and minus goes into here. Same with your DC to DC charger, your plus and your minus connects into here, and then your 12-volt fuse board, your plus and your minus, also connects into here. The only difference with this is that the positive has a isolator in, so I can turn my fuse board on and off when I need to. Then my Servo GX just bolts onto this. It has its own inline fuse, so that can be bolted onto anywhere along this bar. Now, the fuses, depending on how you've got this set up, what components you've got, this will vary. So don't just copy what I've got, because it might not be right for your system. Solar charger, 60 amp fuse. My Orion XS DC to DC charger, that has a 60 amp fuse. And then I have an 80 amp fuse for my fuse board. Then what I also have is a 400 amp fuse, which is going to be supplying my inverter, which is going to be mounted on that, but that needs painting. Cables are just run underneath for now. Clip all these cables up. That is everything I've done so far. If you've got any questions, let me know. And yeah, on to the next bit.